last video regarding the definition of God, I said the definition of God depends on the mind that defines it. It changes with attainment of knowledge. We give different names for the same God, according to the nature and attributes of that divine form. A name is given for that divine form. In this video, I would like to share with you the meaning and the definition of God given according to the Vedanta philosophy. Advaita Vedanta is a sophisticated philosophy. It says God as Brahman. Brahman is that supreme consciousness. Here I would like to take the support of the Taittiriya to emphasize my point. Taittiriya in its second chapter, that is Brahmananda Valli, and the first mantra, it says that Brahmavit apnoti param. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman itself. A person who realizes Brahman attains that supreme. In the same mantra, it says, as a phrase, it says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Here it uses three words to qualify Brahma. Not even to qualify, Brahman is that. It is Satya, Jnana and Ananta. I take to explain, I take the third word first, that is Ananta. Ananta means it is infinite. Infinite in the sense it is vast. Here, vastness is not used as an adjective just to qualify a noun. It is not that it's a vast ocean. We say it's a vast ocean, a vast ground. But here, the vastness is not used as an adjective. It is vastness. Vastness means infinite. It has no limits. Any object in this world is limited by three factors. That is, it is limited by space, time and object. Desha kala vastu. Any object in this world occupies a certain space. Any object has a form, and according to that form a name is given, and it occupies a certain space. For example, I have this book. This is the Taittiriya from which I have taken this mantra. This book occupies a certain space. When I have it in my hand, it occupies a certain space. When I keep it on the table near me, it occupies a certain space there. Like this, any object, any form occupies a space, and this space itself exists in that existence. But Brahman is all-pervading. There is no place in this creation where there is no Brahman. So Brahman has no space limit. So that's the first meaning of why it is said as infinite. The next is, any object, it depends, exists for a certain period of time. It exists between the period, that is between the creation and destruction. For example, take the same book. It existed from the time it was printed. It was some years ago. This was a publication of the Ramakrishna Math. And it will exist for some more years, maybe for 40 to 50 years. And after that, the color of the page of these papers may change. Already it is light yellow in color. It may change to an yellow in color. And after that, the pages may, if I flip over the pages, it may break instead of being tear. We can crush that pages. Or it may be destroyed in some other way. Anyway, this book will exist for some time. and after that it will naturally go into the phase of destruction. Any object in this world, any form, will automatically go into the phase of destruction. It will exist in the period between its creation and destruction. But Brahman is omnipresent. It existed even before creation and it will exist even after creation. This existence, this creation itself exists in that existence. And so it has no time limit. Time, Kala itself is the manifestation of Brahman. And so it has no time limit. And that's why it is said as infinite. And the third thing is, any object in this world is known by that object. It is not known by any other object. Take this book. This book, this form is known as a book. And it is definitely different from the eye pencil I have. This eye pencil is different from this object book. This form has a name and this form has a name. They both are different. This object is known by this or is not known by this object, and this object is not known by this object. So they both are different. But Brahman, it occupies every object. It pervades every object. Every object exists in Brahman. So there is no object without Brahman. And so it's all pervading. Brahman is a sarva-vyapi, all pervading, nitya, eternal, and ananda, infinite. When I say infinite, there cannot be two infinites. And so Brahman is a non-dual. And so Brahman is infinite. And that's the third word, meaning for the third word, ananda, in the phrase satyam jnanam ananta. Now let me explain the first word, that is satya. Satya means existence, reality, truth. Everything exists in that existence. No object can exist without that existence. We cannot exist without that existence. And every object exists in that existence. That existence is a continuous, it's a continuous base of consciousness where there is no division or part. There cannot be any object or any form beyond this existence. There cannot be any form apart from this existence. This existence is the reality. If we question or if we deny that existence, then it is just like questioning or denying our own presence. So existence is that reality, and so it is said as a satya. And jnana, any object is limited by space, time and object, desha kala vastu. And if we know about any object or about any particular field, then our knowledge is limited. However deep knowledge we have about a particular field or about a particular object, then even then it is limited. Only Brahman is not limited by space, time and vastu, and to realize that consciousness is unlimited knowledge. And the knowledge about any object is said as the intellect. That intellect exists in intelligence. The supreme consciousness is intelligence, and to know about that intelligence, our knowledge expands to vastness. Now it is limited. Even if we have knowledge about two or more fields or two or more subjects or two or more many objects, we have limited knowledge. And so that intellect exists in that intelligence. So that's the meaning given for Brahman in Taittiriya Upanishad, that Satya Jnanam Ananta. In fact, we come across this base consciousness, the supreme consciousness, many times in our life. but we are not able to grasp it. In the first sense, we do not know about it, and even if we know about it, we are not able to grasp it, and even if we grasp it, we are not able to remain in that state for more than a few seconds, because we have practiced to think. We come across this consciousness when we are in a very excited state, very happy state, sometimes completely there will be no thoughts, and we will experience that blissness in a very calm way. We gain more strength from that consciousness. And sometimes, even when we are in deep misery or in deep worry, there will be no thoughts. We will completely experience a calmness, an infinite calmness, even deep misery. And sometimes our mind takes a dip in that consciousness, and when it comes out of that consciousness, our mind gets enormous strength. That's how many people overcome their miseries in life. We may not be aware of it, but this is what happens. We all would have come across many miseries in life, but this is what happens. When we just remain calm during that phase, without reacting or without thinking too much about what has happened, then our mind takes a dip in that consciousness, and when it comes out, we gain enormous strength, and we know the way to come out of that problem. And when we are in deep sleep, in the sushupti avastha, every day we experience this consciousness, but we are not able to realize it. And between the two thoughts, this gap of silence, this is that consciousness. We may not be aware of it. Even if we are aware of it, we may not be able to grasp it. Even if we grasp it, we are not able to remain in that gap for a long time, for more than a few seconds. Because before that, another thought comes and it erases that silence. So we come across this consciousness every day, and all our experiences are based on this consciousness. All our experience exists in this consciousness. We are not aware of it. So the definition given for God, according to Advaita Vedanta, which is explained in the Upanishads, is Satya Jnanam Anantam Brahma. We, as a limited mind and a limited form, exist in that existence. Thank you for watching.